I knew something was wrong before I even opened Lily's door. The hallway smelled like fresh paint and dust, and nobody in my family cleaned unless they were hiding something. My name is Donna Atwood. I'm 33 years old, and for about 5 full seconds that night, I honestly thought my daughter was dead. Her room was empty, not messy, not packed for a sleepover. Empty in this careful, deliberate way that made my stomach go cold. The bed was gone. The little lamp with the crooked pink shade was gone. Even the cheap plastic laundry basket she hated using was gone. Half the ceiling had been painted over in uneven gray primer, and underneath it, I could still see faint blue glow-in-the-dark stars trying to show through, like they were trapped under ice. I just stood there in my scrubs, holding my keys. My feet hurt so bad I could feel my pulse in my heels. 16-hour shift, one trauma case after another. I still had hospital smell on me, antiseptic and old coffee, and that weird metallic scent that clings to your skin after someone almost dies in front of you. Behind me, I heard tape ripping. Brooke sat cross-legged on the floor, sealing a cardboard box with a tape gun. She didn't even look embarrassed, just irritated I was home early enough to interrupt whatever this was. "Where's Lily?" My voice came out too calm. That always happens when I'm furious. People think yelling means anger. For me, it's the opposite. Quiet means I'm already past it. My mother appeared behind me in the hallway with her arms folded tight across her chest. "She's with Travis for a few days." I stared at her. At her father's? "She needs stability, Donna." The sentence landed strange because it sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced it in her head. Brooke finally looked up from the box. "And honestly, this room just makes more sense for the studio." Studio. I looked at the ring light plugged into the wall where my daughter's bookshelf used to be. Something inside me shifted then. Not exploded. Shifted. Like a lock turning. I think my mother expected me to scream. She liked it when people screamed, because then she could become the reasonable one. "Calm down. Stop being dramatic. Look how emotional you are." Instead, I asked, "Who decided this?" "We talked as a family," she said. That word, family. My mother used it like a weapon wrapped in lace. Family helps each other. Family sacrifices. Family shares. What she really meant was, Donna gives, everybody else takes, and nobody mentions it because that would be selfish. I walked into the kitchen slowly, because if I stayed in that doorway any longer, I might actually hit something. The TV was on in the living room, some game show audience laughing too loudly. My father sat in his recliner pretending to watch it, though I could tell from the way he kept rubbing his forehead, he was listening to every word. He didn't look at me. That almost hurt worse. 3 years earlier, after his heart surgery, I'd said yes when my parents asked to stay temporarily. Temporary became permanent in the way mold becomes permanent. Quietly, gradually. Suddenly, it's everywhere. Then Brooke moved in too, because Brooke was finding herself. Brooke had been finding herself for 29 years. I paid the mortgage, utilities, groceries most months, school supplies, half of Brooke's phone bill once because she cried about brand consistency, and somehow I ended up apologizing. And still, somehow, I was treated like the unstable one because I worked nights and forgot to buy almond milk sometimes. My mother followed me into the kitchen. "You've been overwhelmed," she said carefully. "Lily needs structure." I laughed then, but it came out ugly. Structure? "She's alone too much." "I work." "You're never here." The thing is, she wasn't entirely wrong. That's what made it sting. There were nights Lily fell asleep before I got home. Mornings I barely remembered packing her lunch. Once, 2 months ago, she cried because I missed her school music thing, and I snapped at her for making me feel guilty. She went quiet after that in this horrible adult way children sometimes do. I still hated myself for it. So when my mother looked at me with that disappointed expression, part of me folded inward, because some awful little piece of me thought maybe I deserved this. That's how families like mine survive. They mix control with just enough truth that you start participating in your own humiliation. I called Travis because somebody had to, my mother said softly. I turned around slowly. You called him? He's her father. You told him I wanted her gone? We said you needed rest. We. There it was again. We decided. We thought. We voted. Like I was a difficult employee being managed, instead of a mother standing in her own kitchen. I looked toward the hallway, toward the gray paint covering our stars. Lily and I painted those together the first week we moved in. Cheap glow paint all over our hands. She'd laughed so hard she snorted when I fell off the step stool and cursed in front of her for the first time. She made me promise the stars would stay forever. And now, half of them were buried under primer because my sister wanted better lighting for videos about mindfulness. The cruelty of that almost impressed me. I grabbed my phone and called Travis immediately. He answered too fast, like he'd been expecting it. Donna, put Lily on. A pause, then quieter. Your mom said you were having some kind of breakdown. I closed my eyes. In the background, I heard cartoons playing and the tiny clinking sound of a spoon against a bowl. Then Lily's voice came on, small and shaky. Mama? That nearly broke me. Not the crying, not the room, just that one word. I'm here, baby. Grandma said I should give Aunt Brooke my room because she's trying to build a career. I leaned against the counter hard enough it hurt. What did you say? I said okay. Her voice cracked. Was that bad? Kids will apologize for surviving adults. No, I whispered. No, sweetheart. She put Biscuit in a trash bag. I looked toward the hallway again. I suddenly couldn't breathe right. Biscuit was a gray stuffed rabbit Lily slept with every single night since she was 2 years old. One eye missing, ear stitched badly by me after the dog got hold of it. My mother had put him in a trash bag. Something hot finally flickered through me then. Not rage exactly. Clarity. I'm coming to get you. Okay. A pause. Are you mad at Grandma? I almost said yes. Instead, I said, I think Grandma forgot this is your home. When I hung up, the kitchen felt strangely quiet except for the television audience still laughing in the other room. My mother was watching me carefully now. You're making this bigger than it is. No, I said softly. I think you already did that. For the first time all evening, she looked uncertain. Just a flicker. I walked past her toward my bedroom. My hands were steady now. Too steady. At the bottom drawer of my dresser sat the manila folder with the mortgage, the deed, every document with only my name printed on it. Mine. Not ours, mine. And standing there, exhausted and still wearing blood-specked hospital shoes, I realized something ugly about myself. Part of me had enjoyed being needed all these years. Being the responsible one made me feel important, superior even. I got to resent them while also controlling everything financially. It was its own kind of addiction. But somewhere along the line, I'd confused sacrifice with love. And my daughter had paid for it. I picked up the folder. In the kitchen, my mother had started talking again, nervous now, filling silence the way she always did when she felt power slipping. We were only trying to help. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said the quietest thing I could think of. You painted over her stars.